Hey everybody, it's Valerie Ling here. I'm coming to you straight after work. If you are catching the video, this is what I look like straight after work today. It's been pretty massive. And I wanted to actually say to you that I do believe in quiet quitting the mental load, quiet quitting the mental load. Having myself seen clients and talked to my team today back in the practice, and just really relating with healthcare professionals at the moment and us, trying to make sense of what we're feeling. I wanted to let you know that I am quite quitting the mental load. What do I mean by this? Well, for a lot of us who actually care about what we do, care about the work that we do, care about how we come across at home, we can actually have some standards that we call unrelenting that we don't actually really even realize are there. They're the internal standards we have for ourselves that are unrelenting. So what we define as being present for loved ones, what we define as being healthy, what we define as being productive, we've actually got some standards that maybe worked for us, like as in it wasn't really causing us too much problems because our capabilities were helping us to compensate. What do I mean by that? So if on the weekend, for example, I tend to be really high energy and high vibe in the morning, my capability to multitask is probably beyond most of my family members. And so I can vacuum, I can mop, I can listen to a podcast while I'm doing that and map out the rest of my week. Like my capability to do that just developed as part of being an overachiever. Well, I'll just put it out there. I'm not competitive, but I'm fairly driven. I want to hit some goals, and then the goals get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I've developed a way in my life prior to this, when my capacity was what it would normally have been, to be able to kind of go under the radar and just coast along with that, because most of the time people couldn't see what I was expecting of myself. Over the weekend, I've made the conscious decision to actually quit on some of those expectations and quit on some of the mental load, because there's just not enough capacity. I was actually chatting with one of our senior clinpsychs in the practice today, who is one of our primary supervisors of our team, and she was actually revealing to me, and I'm very excited to go and look at this, that there are now some studies that are coming up about what we know about changes to our brain during the pandemic. That some parts of our brain are probably over fried, and some parts of our brain have been so underutilized in the last 3 years that some of the neural circuitry, if you like, has actually changed. And so there's possibly some studies that are probably going to show us that this capacity thing is the real deal. So how am I quiet quitting the mental load? Well, I'm just not expecting myself to be able to juggle quite as much as I normally would during the weekend. Um, and I'm trying not to feel guilty or resentful about that. And I need a lot of help with that. I've got to talk to people, and they've got to express and encourage me that, I haven't become a lesser human being. Even yesterday, I found myself really struggling. I still struggle to read as in depth as possible, switching over to audiobooks, switching over to a different medium and using different parts of the brain. I'm certainly having less expectations for my creativity, which sounds very sad, but bear with me. Every year I would normally have a piece of music that I would be listening. Well, I've changed that. I'm just listening to different types of music now and appreciating, different instruments and different genres. I'm expecting that I will go to bed earlier and not feeling like age is creeping up with me because I'm no longer, staying up and doing fun things. Fun things. I'm even reevaluating what it means to plan for fun things. Now, this might seem like a role drop out and cop out in life, but bear in mind that the people who will relate with this, if you're on my channels, if you're part of my audience, You're basically someone who has a high intensity environment, lots of personal stresses, and you care for others with the stress on your shoulders, and you still are giving and inputting and outputting. And much like my poor Roland keyboard who fried on Sunday, we are not sad. It is just a material thing. That input output capacity capability thing is probably just frying you up. So, hey, you don't need to hold on to the mental load. You can simplify as much as you like. You can do things that will help to free up some cognitive space. And here's the thing, my beloved audience, and you can free up some space to use your brain differently, right? So that different parts of your brain can work in just observing, which is why the mindfulness movement is so powerful and strong. May the force be strong with you, mindfulness people, is because it's using a different part of the brain. Being able to just breathe and sip and appreciate and not analyze and criticize and evaluate. That's okay. Give that a break as well. Too much choice. If you need to, you're just wearing basically 2 pairs of shoes. Hey, that's okay. It doesn't match your outfit for the season. Reduce the mental load. It's the new way to live and the new way to be, really. If your shoes don't match your outfit, that's okay. If you can only make it to the grocery store that's 1 kilometer away from your house, and you don't have what used to be this primitive sense of conquering the bargains, right? Like, I'm just buying my bananas now from the same store for $50 a kilogram. Before I'd hunt, really get it down to like, oh man, this is like the bargain. Same with your petrol. Okay, maybe just don't drive quite as far, quite as much anymore, so that you're reducing some of the mental load. So, my friends, quiet quitting, I've got some views about it. You've heard it. But I will tell you that I'm quietly quitting the mental load because ain't nobody got to know about it except you, everybody on Facebook Live and replay who will listen to this. We don't need to ask for permission to do that. You can let go of some of these expectations and some of the things that have been around and maybe weren't causing you quite as much because your capacity was up there. But capacity is a little bit lower right now. Quit the mental load. See you later, guys.